everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Redhead Boo here yet again with the video that's actually technically going out on Saturday rather than today, on the day that I'm filming, because since it is the 4th of May tomorrow, aka Star Wars Day, I thought that since I've never done like a Star Wars themed video on this channel, I thought, why not do it for Star Wars Day? So I've actually got 8 questions instead of 10 because some were quite repetitive and I didn't want this video to be too long because I have got a bit of a tickly cough at the minute, so the less time I spend talking, which is impossible for me in a YouTube video, the less I'll cough, hopefully. So that's why my voice sounds a bit weird. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy if you're a Star Wars fan or a fan of my channel, I don't know. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get started. So the first question is, what are my top 3 favourite Star Wars films? I'm going to say Revenge of the Sith because, yeah, I'm going to say that film in my top 3 because it's, I don't know, it has been quite a while since I watched them, so I apologise if I can't remember much. I liked the backstory of how Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, because that's the type of film I like. So like Cruella, yeah, and Wonka, sort of that style where you learn about what makes a character the one that they are in the other films, if that makes sense. And yeah, I just like that idea and learning more about him, about what makes him bad, and like becoming into the dark side rather than the rebellion. So yeah, it is a good little introduction to his character in a bit more depth, I think. So yeah, if you're a fan of Darth Vader and you've not seen the film, I recommend it. I do. The other 2 films I think that are my favourites are The Last Jedi, because I love Rey, and I'm more a fan of like the newer ones. I like the original because they're just like, well, the classic Star Wars, the original trilogy. But the newer ones, I think I'm a bit more of a fan of. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like older films, but I do think the later releases are better. So yeah, I definitely think Last Jedi, and my all-time favourite has got to be Force Awakens. I love that film so much. I love Rey, as I've said, she's one of my favourite characters, and yeah, so I think those 3 films for me are like my favourites. So if you want to let me know your favourites in the comments, then feel free, or let me know somewhere else, I don't know. Which character is your favourite? So I've mentioned this character a lot. My favourite character in Star Wars is Rey. I just think she's very strong, she's very independent, and when she gets like the power of the Force, she's a force to be reckoned with, she really is. And I quite like the fact that in comparison to like the original films, it's more the men that are classed the heroes, yet in the newer ones you've got like Leia and Rey and I think that's it, mainly for the women, but there are also quite a few other characters that I can't quite remember the name of, so yeah. But the women seem a lot stronger in the newer films than they do like the originals, so that's my reason. But I also really love BB-8. I just think he's incredible, and I gotta love a droid. I do. So yeah. Question number 3. If you could be any character in Star Wars, which character would you choose and why? If I could be any character in Star Wars, who would I choose and why? I don't know. I think in a way I would choose to be... Why did my mind go to Chewbacca? I don't know. But yeah, I quite like Chewbacca, and I really hope one day I get to meet him in a Disney park because his hugs look great. And I like the noise he makes. I'm obviously not going to do it because my throat is a bit meh. So yeah, but I love it a lot. And the fact that he's just an iconic character, and like, he is one of my favourites. I do think my top 3 favourite characters are Rey, BB-8 and Chewbacca. So yeah. Question number 4. Which is your least favourite Star Wars movie and why? Least favourite. I'm gonna say Rogue One, just because I'm more of a fan of like action films, and I think that's what makes me like the films that are in my top 3 the most. I just found the story of Rogue One a bit boring, and yeah, it wasn't my favourite. And I think out of all of the films, that was the one that seemed to drag quite a bit. And I know there are a few people in here who would probably disagree with me, which is absolutely fine. It's my opinion and everyone has their own opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel it was very slow and didn't have much action, and yeah, it just wasn't the best in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I think anyway. Question number 5. Which actor gave the best performance in any Star Wars movie and why? I think I will say James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, just because his voice is so iconic. And when I heard it, I was like, I know that I would recognise that voice anywhere. And yeah, I just think he's iconic. But also, like, what's her name? Is it Carrie Hope Fisher as Leia? I'm not 100% sure on all the actors' names, so if I might get them wrong, if I do, I'm sorry. But yeah, like, I remember the part of Star Tours when her little scene came on from, I can't remember which film it's from, and sorry, and it's sort of like everyone's reaction was just like, oh, and it was really nice and wholesome, because obviously she's not around anymore, so that makes it a bit more like emotional. So yeah, I do think her as an actress in that movie is always just going to be iconic and special, and she's a very special, inspiring woman. So yeah. And sort of links in nicely with the next question. So, what was your favourite part of your Disney holiday relating to Star Wars? So, really, the only thing I did Star Wars related on this holiday was go on Star Tours. And if you've seen my vlog, if you've seen any of the Disneyland Paris videos I did since I've returned, you will know how much I fell in love with that ride and sort of had a bit of a... That was one of the rides I was most nervous about, I think. Just because before going on it, like I've said so many times now, I had never tried a simulator ride. I didn't think I would enjoy it. I thought I would feel sick, and I just thought it wasn't for me. And I didn't really get panicky. I was just a bit anxious, and I remember saying to my friends, like, it doesn't go upside down, does it? It doesn't spin or anything like that. And they were like, honestly, no, you will absolutely love it, and you will regret it if you don't go on it. And I am so, so glad that I went on it, because we literally went on it 3 times over the holiday, and I just I just fell in love. I really did. And I even went on it after eating a meal, and I didn't feel sick. I was laughing the whole time I was on it. I was laughing my head off. I was just in absolute awe of the technology and the queue line. I've probably said this a few times now, but the queue line, especially on Star Tours, is my favourite queue line in Disney. I just think there's so much to look at. There's so many like hidden Easter eggs in the queue. You've got the C-3PO like animatronic. You've got Rex. You've got everything, and it's one of the best. And I think it's my favourite thrill ride of Disneyland Paris. So yeah, I just love it. And when I do go back to Disney, I think I might make that the first ride I go on of the whole holiday, just because it was like iconic. And yeah, like just hearing the music and the hyperspace section and going through hyperspace, like lift your feet up, because it literally feels like you're flying. And yeah, it's just amazing. So that's definitely my favourite part of Star Wars in Disney. Question number 7. Why do you think Star Wars remains so popular today? I just think because a lot of people have sort of grown up with it, and obviously like people like my parents, they'll have watched maybe the original trilogy in the cinema or on TV. And I just think it's relevant and anyone can get into it. Like, I'll admit it now, I only started watching it, when did I start it? Either December or January this year. And it was always like one of the franchises I wanted to try and watch. And I knew that in order to sort of understand more aspects of the Star Wars land area in Disney, I sort of felt like I had to watch it. And I am really glad I did watch it, actually, because I learnt so much and I understood a lot more on Star Tours and like around that area, and like hyperspace. I got what that meant, and yeah, it just sort of related a lot more to me. And yeah, I just think it's really fun, and it's a lot different to like any other film out there. The music, the characters, just everything about it. I think Star Wars will always be one of them films that is just always going to be popular, regardless of like 10 or 20 years time, people will always just talk about it. And the fact that now all of the films are on Disney Plus, you've got, because they're owned by Disney, so you've got like the series as well, so they're making like, maybe the not so popular characters have their own like spin-offs. You've got like Ashoka, Mandalorian, Boba Fett I think has one, and I think that's it. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. But like I said, so many of the characters that aren't maybe as popular as the others get their own little series. So yeah. And finally, question number 8. Which Star Wars character most and least deserved their fate? So I'm going to say the character that I think most deserved their fate was Emperor Palpatine. Just because he was like the most evil. I would say out of all of the villains, he's like the most hated and the most evil. He's horrible. I don't like him. He basically had what was coming to him. And yeah, I think like, especially out of all the villains like Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, if you really want to cast him, those two you sort of like, but Palpatine, I feel like not a lot of people like him. So in a way, he's the most hated, I think. In my opinion, again, if people have their own opinion, again, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I don't like him at all. And I think the character that least deserved their fate was Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader. I just think he had a lot more going for him, and you sort of feel like empathy towards him, and you don't necessarily think, oh, like he's definitely a villain, because he does have his moments in Revenge of the Sith, and obviously as Darth Vader he is quite, well, he is evil as that, yeah, but in a way he's just so iconic as Darth Vader. And then obviously what happens to him, and I do love the scene where it shows him becoming Darth Vader, but he didn't deserve that, I don't think. So yeah, but that was the final question. And I know this video was a lot shorter than I had planned. However, if I was back to full health, I would have done the 10 questions. But yeah, who knows, at some point I might do another one. But I just want to thank everybody who sent in a question, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. And yeah, I just hope you all tune in to what I've coming up, because there are so many exciting videos coming. I cannot explain how many amazing videos I've planned for this month, especially the one at the end of the month, hopefully all being well. But yeah, I am just so happy at the moment, and yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will not see you next week as I mentioned, but I will see you again on Monday the 13th and then the Friday of that week. So I think that is the 17th, with another cozy sit down video reviewing Jamie's show. So yeah, I will see you all very, very soon. But for now, this is Redhead Boo signing off. Bye!